this one couple told me they had like made love to it, and so I guess they consider my voice like a
no way
aphrodisiac. It does get into the territory of like going to bed at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., things like that.
That's like a rapper.
It would be like 10 a.m. breakfast, 11 a.m.
Did you hear that glass shatter?
Yeah, is everything okay?
That was dramatic.
I feel like I've been hearing people getting in your building this whole time.
Yeah, don't worry about it. How you doing, buddy?
Good, how are you?
Louisville zone, Kentucky zone.
Yep.
Throw on those headphones, or you don't have to, but if you just want to get it situated. See if you look at that, bro. You got it. No, you got it.
How do you know?
Well, I mean, usually they'll like start to flip, and people aren't usually able to put it on, but you got it on first try. Jacob Williams, what's up, dude?
Hey,
you want to get comfy? You want to get comfy or what?
Yeah,
we're
can
live.
I adjust my volume in here?
Yes, absolutely. Growing up in Louisville, what was that like? You're a bit of a class clown in first grade, but then second grade came around, and you needed to compose yourself, apparently. Oh man.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Breaking the microphone.
I'll come over.
I think it's good.
Yeah,
now.
Don't just leave it here.
Okay.
Just like do a little bit of back and forth.
Okay. Yes. But wow, you have a really good memory because you mentioned.
But I also listened to our podcast from last time, like before you came over.
Oh, okay.
I do have a good memory though in general.
Yeah, I listen to it every day and I still forget.
You listen to it every day. I try and listen to it like a couple times.
Yeah, like
a day.
At least once
just because I love hearing your voice, bro.
Likewise, yeah.
You have a nice voice, very soothing. You ever think about, just before we get into my first question, you ever think about doing like audiobooks?
Yeah, I did a little bit in college where I had one of the jobs I had in college for a while was I would like read books for
like textbooks.
Yeah, I think it was for like students that had disabilities, like if they were couldn't see or something, that I would read the books onto the thing.
I feel like you have like a soothing voice to where it might be fun to listen to like a murder mystery novel.
I was just listening to a bunch of, I literally just listened to a few murder mystery audiobooks and it was great. But
that was so random.
Yeah, no, I'm like obsessed with murder mysteries.
Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, okay, we can get into that a little bit.
Yeah, no, I love them. It is very distracting because then I want to know what happens, so I have to like spend all my time on like getting through the book and like ignore all my other obligations while I'm in the middle of one. So I feel like I can only do it once in a while, but yeah, they're pretty great. Love audiobooks. I did have one time I used to sell like CDs of my stand-up, and this one couple told me they had like made love to it, and so I guess they consider my voice like a aphrodisiac. I appreciate it because I've definitely gotten a lot of criticism for my voice in terms of like I always wish I had more vocal inflection like you or things like that. But
you do though. You just had it right there.
Oh, thanks. I'm trying to mix it up.
You're doing a good job. All right. So growing up in Kentucky, what was that like? What would you say your experience was like, maybe in a sentence, and then we'll elaborate on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. I was an only child, so I had a lot of free time. So I think that's when I kind of got some of my mind for comedy, because I would have to entertain myself. So I did a lot of, I made like short movies, stop animation style. I do feel bad because I haven't listened to our episode recently, so I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself.
No, you're not, bro. I'll keep you on track. You're good. This is new info.
Yeah, let me know if I'm saying anything I said last time.
No, you're good. They love it.
That was a while ago, but that was. But yeah, no, I did. So I would like make. Yeah, actually, speaking of audiobooks, yeah, I would like as a kid, I would like recreate stories on cassette tapes and just like retell the Muppets Christmas Carol that I watched and like try to do the voices of that, and then make like short movies. When I saw a movie as a kid, I would go home and like draw pictures of the movie of the characters, and like I was just really into that. Like I said last time, I was a class clown in first grade, and then kind of redirected a lot of that into like more creative, like artsy, whatever,
creative energy.
Yeah, but it was tough because I had trouble like getting cast in like high school and stuff, because I think I just wasn't sure how to like emote as much. I was a little like in my head.
Interesting.
But yeah.
Was there a lot to do in your town of Louisville? And it was Louisville, or was it a small town outside of Louisville?
Yeah, it was Louisville, 16th biggest city in America.
No way. Is that true?
Technically, yeah, but I think it's like a technicality where
maybe it's just like a huge freaking city.
They incorporated like the county, I think, or something.
What county are you from?
Jefferson County.
Jefferson County.
And, but yeah, it's a good size. So technically, I think there's about 1 million people or so. But yeah, it's good. There's stuff to do. It was a little tough because I was, an only child, and my parents aren't like the most like social, going out all the time people. So yeah. I did have a lot of alone time, like I said. But other than that, I mean, I love visiting now because there is a lot of stuff to do, especially as an adult, if you can drive or get around.
Right, hit the bars and shit.
Yeah, and I did have friends in my neighborhood that I was close with, and I had like some family friends that had 11 kids, that some of which were about my age. So yeah, so I would hang out with them a lot, and that was kind of my.
Did you feel like you were part of that family?
Yeah, I do feel still like I'm kind of almost like an honorary sibling, because like I'll still go on like family vacations with them, and
that's so funny. Wait,
weddings and whatever.
How can a family organize though a 12-kid family vacation? Was it like a road trip?
It's super organized.
Somewhere in Kentucky.
Yeah, it's like this. Typically we'll go somewhere like a state park in Indiana or somewhere like a couple hours away.
Like
people. Yeah, when I was younger, we would get rooms at this lodge there, and a lot of times it'd be like 4 or 5 people in one room, just like spaced out wherever. And then it would be like super scheduled. It would be like 10 a.m. breakfast, 11 a.m.
Did you hear that glass shatter?
Yeah, is everything okay?
That was dramatic.
I feel like I've been hearing people getting murdered in your building this whole time.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're on the second floor, so we're at least 10 feet above it. No, that's the trash pit.
Oh, okay.
So somebody definitely just shattered glass. See. Or it was like, well, you know the intro for Stone Cold Steve Austin? Like,
yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
That's what it kind of sounded similar to.
Very cool.
What do your parents do?
So my dad was they were both retired now, but my dad was a social worker. My mom was a grade school teacher with Waldorf School, where I went for a few years as a kid.
What was that like, having your mom as a teacher?
So when I went there, I think she was kind of part-time teaching German. So I only had her like briefly for
teaching German in a public school in
Louisville. It was a private. Yeah, it was
there you go.
It's a very artsy kind of educational system based on like trying to get kids to like feel creative and nurture. So yeah. Oh, go ahead. No,
I was gonna say, did kids have the choice to speak Spanish, Italian, or German? What was the deal with
we
that?
were learning. It was grade school, so it wasn't like super specialized like that. But we did learn Japanese and German.
Like writing Japanese?
Yeah, I mean, I technically took a few years of both. I've forgotten it because I haven't used it since then. But yeah, it was good for that, and then for like a lot of recess, a lot of like outdoor, a lot of like doing stuff with your hands, like making, like knitting, and a lot of fairy tales. Even in like math class, they would use like analogies. Like you'd see like a picture of like gnomes with like a bunch of coconuts or whatever it was to like figure out multiplication. You're like, oh, here's a stack of them. See, this is anyway, it was a lot of like, it really did make me love reading and things like that, which I still do, because I think it like the whole thing was like, it's not like you have to do this. It's more like we want to get you like excited to like use your imagination in a way that also incorporates learning. So it actually didn't really feel like work, but you're kind of like end up doing a lot of work because they make it fun, which was really nice. So that was cool. I definitely made some friends there that I still keep in touch with occasionally.
Was there like a weird social aspect though behind having your mom as a teacher?
Yeah, that part was a little tough because it was kind of brief that she taught me, I think just for maybe 1 or 2 years. And so that was just one class, but no, it was actually the opposite. She was kind of like extra hard on me. I think maybe she was worried that she didn't want to show favoritism, but she went too far in the opposite direction.
Oh shit! So she would just be like, sit in the corner.
Yeah, like calling me out on the smallest thing, and I'm like, yeah. My aunt has a story about when I was a kid in church with my parents, and I guess my cousin was like kind of like yelling and running around as the kids do, and then I was just like kind of quiet for the whole church, and then at one point I was like, excuse me, Mom, could I ask you a question? And my mom was like, shh, like don't talk and whatever. So I think I just from a young age I had this thing like drilled into me where I was like kind of like ended up being a little quiet or nervous to speak up at times, which is kind of funny because now my job is to talk in front of groups of strangers.
Complete opposite. How did you break out of that? Was that like in high school when you started doing more performances? When did the change really come to being a quiet kid?
So I always, it was funny because I did always love like entertainment, and I thought it'd be more of like
a little bit if you want.
Oh, okay. I think because I had a lot of free time or whatever, but I always like wanted to be a little more social than I was being, sometimes just not having siblings and stuff. So I was always like curious about people, wanting to connect with people, but was ended up being kind of shy and stuck in my head a lot of times. So, but yeah, like I said, I think in like grade school at that Waldorf school, I did do some plays, and that was like my first taste of like, oh, this is exciting to like do a play, like act out this role, and people are clapping and stuff. And you like, afterwards, like there were people like in my class and other classes coming up and saying nice things. And so that might've been where I got hooked of like, oh, this feels fun being on stage. But I was like very shy and quiet for a lot of middle school and high school and stuff. So I was definitely like, and then I would audition for plays and like kind of like rarely get in like high school and stuff when it got really competitive at this, like, you know, with a lot of good kids that were like good at acting.
How many kids went to your high school?
It was pretty small actually, but yeah, it was like one of the schools where,
performers.
Yeah, there were just some kids that were like better at that kind of thing. And so by the end of high school.
Not anymore though, right? Unless.
Well, even in college, I would like audition for like improv groups and stuff, and I wouldn't get in. But then in college is when I started doing stand up, and that's when I realized I could kind of do something where I could like do it at my own pace, but still. And so that was like terrifying. The first time I did it, I thought I was going to like throw up.
But you told everyone that you were going to do it though. So you had to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry if I probably went over this.
No, dude, come on. I'm just confirming.
But yeah, so that was scary, but then I did it. It was really fun. And I just kind of got hooked and just kept doing it. So it's this weird thing of feeling a lot of social anxiety, but just loving to connect with people and whatever.
You went to college in Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Where in Wisconsin?
So I went to Beloit College. It's, it might be like 1,400 students.
Maybe I've heard of that. So what was it like though, going from small town in Kentucky, or was it not that small?
Well,
Jefferson Township.
Louisville's pretty decent sized.
Right. But would you say that you grew up in a small town or no?
No. I mean, again, 16th biggest in America.
Yeah.
But so there was definitely stuff there. The college town was like definitely a lot smaller than my hometown. So which was kind of tough starting comedy there, because it was nice because it was really supportive. So it did get me going in that way. But then at a certain point, I wanted more stage time. So like instead of studying abroad, I went to Chicago, and that was more like my bigger taste of like a bigger city or whatever. And so I spent part of college there, and then after college went there again for more comedy and whatever before moving here like 9 years ago. So yeah.
Was there a reason that you went to that school in Wisconsin though? Is that like scholarship money or something? Yeah,
I definitely got some scholarship money, and it was kind of, so it really was, a lot of it was like just economical. And a lot of my parents had saved some money for college, but a lot of that ended up going to this high school I went to, which was, I think, like kind of expensive, that I wanted to go to because it had like stuff with like really good video teachers and arts related classes.
It's crazy that you it seems like you knew what you wanted from a younger-ish age.
I did. I was actually not sure if I could do comedy because I hadn't been super in front of people a lot. But I knew I was super interested in that kind of thing, like either being a writer or director or working. I guess I always thought I'd be like more behind the scenes, and like I would do like person on the street videos sometimes for this class.
Let's go.
In high school. And my friend was like, oh, that was really funny. But I was like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just like a behind the scenes guy. So it took me a while to figure out like, oh, I really love being in front of people, telling jokes in front of people. And it's one of those things I realized the more you do, you can kind of like hopefully get better at it over time. But
And the first time you saw stand up, like, oh, that's actually a thing, was it in Wisconsin, or was it when you were in Chicago?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely saw it growing up. I remember as a kid seeing like this joke on a talk show, like the Tonight Show or something, about like showing like my first memory of seeing a joke on TV that adults laughed at that I also got was like, I was like a little kid. So like it was when The Lion King came out. So I was probably like 4 or 5 or something. And there was like, they showed this stampede from the movie, and then someone like doing like the poop scooper thing after, and I was like, oh, that's funny that someone can come up with that and make adults laugh.
Wait. See, so it was like on the TV, and then there was just like a green screen of a guy picking up all the poop.
It was like, it was like all the stampeding animals in a scene in The Lion King, and then it's like in parades. And then you were like,
that's relatable. Somebody's got to pick up all the fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm like, that's hilarious. It's a movie I know, funny, and it's thinking a thing. And then adults are laughing. So that might have planted the seed. And then in high school, I watched, like, I got really into like Conan and would watch comedians on there, or I didn't even really have a computer or YouTube, but when I went to like other people's houses, I would like watch a lot of stand up on that when I had downtime. And then Dimitri Martin was the first one I saw where I was like, oh, this guy's like kind of low energy. And
dude, that was like one of the first comedians I saw that I think kind of got me into watching more stand up. Dimitri Martin was one of the first comedy specials I saw where it was like, that's so different.
Yeah, you know, that was definitely
so out of left field. This guy's got a drawing board up there. He's doing one-liners.
Yeah, totally. It felt very like the Waldorf school I went to, where it was like very like kind of creative or whatever, and
that
like a little more subtle. And, that's when I saw that
Waldorf school.
Yeah,
that's the name.
Then,
that's fancy.
Of like the high school I went to.
Yeah,
or the grade school. But and then in college I got really into like Birbiglia as well. Okay. And I always watched a lot of comedy though, and just different things. But yeah, those were like some of the first ones I saw that were like kind of closer to my sensibility.
How'd you feel about Mitch Hedberg?
I loved Mitch Hedberg.
Yeah, he was like one of the guys that I really kind of fell in love with. Like,
yeah, he was awesome.
I want to be a race car driver passenger. Boy, you must really like Todd. You know, like sick one-liners like that.
Yeah.
Do you think
got so many good?
Do you think you had a leg up starting at an early age? You know, when you moved to the city, you how old were you at the time when you moved to the city?
When I moved like to New York to
New York City, pursue comedy. How old were you?
That's a good question. I mean, so I started comedy when I was 18, and then after college I did America's Got Talent when I was like 23, and then Wild 'N Out shortly after. So I'd already done, I think, my second season of Wild 'N Out I had taped before I moved to New York in 2014, which would have been, I'm trying to do the math of how old I was.
Figure like 10 years ago-ish.
Something like that.
So you're like 24, 25?
Yeah, I was, by then I was probably like, 24 or 25.
Yeah. So you were a bit established though before you moved to New York. It wasn't like drop everything and try and make it to New York. You already had a few gigs.
Yeah, I was already doing comedy full time. Once I did America's Got Talent, I was technically doing it full time, but it was mostly because I just would eat really cheap food and not really.
Well, and your expenses in Chicago weren't that.
Yeah, I had crazy. I found like a really cheap apartment there that was like kind of off the beaten path and stuff like that. And then I was just really focused mostly on comedy at that time. And so I don't know. I guess no, it's been fun. I still feel very lucky to do stand up as like my job.
Profession for sure, dude. After America's Got Talent though, wasn't there a spot for you where you kind of felt like, oh shit, like I fucked that up? I can't fully remember the last time, but you were talking about something happened with you.
No, totally. Or? Yeah, my last round on there, I felt like
on America's Got Talent.
Yeah, I felt like my last round on that show in 2012 was like didn't go well, and I was like, oh no, everyone's gonna.
Was that in front of a huge audience though?
Yeah, I think.
And how many minutes did you do?
It was only like maybe a minute and a half or 2 minutes or something. But it was definitely a tough crowd. It was at the New Jersey Performing Arts Center, which is like a few thousand people. And then there was probably like 19 million or so watching. And then it's still like on YouTube. So I'm like, it's that. I was like always kind of disappointed that that's just out there. But I guess I've done enough other stuff. Hopefully people
so people are watching
judge me just based on one set.
What was the time frame though between the last round of America's Got Talent and how far did you make it, and then getting that Wild 'N Out gig?
Yeah, it was in the semifinal. So I performed 4 rounds on there, and I had a lot of like one-liners which I was using up each round to kind of get to the next round. So I was kind of burning through material pretty quick, even though it was short sets. But and then I was kind of depressed a little bit after that, where I was like, oh, I feel like I blew my one chance at whatever.
How long did that last?
Maybe a few weeks. months or maybe a couple of months or more. I don't know. But then, yeah, and then but I guess later that year, honestly, I guess it wasn't that much longer, and it was pure luck because I didn't have like an agent or anything. I just got lucky that Nick Cannon enjoyed my comedy and wanted to convince them to give me a shot. And so I think it was later that year. So yeah, it might have been like September was America's Got Talent. And then the auditions for a while now, it might have been like November, October, which really isn't that long in retrospect. And I had been doing a lot of like stand up and improv still. So I guess, I kind of just gave that my all and like didn't sleep at all the night before the audition because I was really nervous, but I would like practice as much as I could and whatever. So I do feel very lucky that worked out, and I've gotten to do like 12 seasons of that show.
Sick, dude. What did the audition process look like?
Yeah, wait, so I didn't talk about this last time, did I? Or no?
Really,
okay, yeah, no, it was kind of crazy. They basically asked if I'd want to be like flown out to New York for this audition.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have much. I was like, yeah, that sounds great. And so I practiced all the things that might come up, but it was basically like the first audition. It was like doing like a few of the games from the show. It's like you're by yourself in front of the producers and a few people, and it's like and part of me was nervous because like America's Got Talent, I felt like I had been kind of portrayed as like this nerdy character, like where they're like the editing, I felt like some of it made it look like it was like laughing at me as opposed to with me as a comedian. Like as a comedian, you want to be like in charge of the joke. So I was worried it would be like that kind of thing where I was like, I hope this isn't something where I'll be like the butt of the joke or whatever. But once I got on there, I realized it's definitely very much like everyone can like make jokes and you like make fun of each other. But yeah, it's not something where anyone's like bullying like one specific person or anything. But yeah, no, the audition was really fun because it was you're basically like doing like a few characters. I did some like characters which isn't my strong suit, but I did like some like freestyle rapping I'd been practicing leading up to the audition. And then like they were like, what would you say to like Kevin Hart in a rap battle? And I was like, something I did, like I had this rhyme about like at a bank, I try not to rob it, but you look like you'd be an extra in The Hobbit or something like that. And then they were like, well, like kind of funny pickup line, would you like? And it was like right after Hurricane Sandy. So I said something like, is your name Sandy because you blow me away or something?
Oh, nice. Did they have a girl sitting in for that? Or
no, that was just, they were just, that one was just the producers and it was just kind of.
Oh, they were like,
whatever.
What's a good pickup line?
Yeah. And I have like a joke about it in my special, but yeah, I think one of the producers really said something like usually this is like a high energy show, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not usually this high energy. I really turned it up.
Oh my god!
But basically, I think I just got lucky that Nick Cannon thought I was funny, and I think he was telling them like, I think it would be cool to see how he works with like other people with the other styles on the show. And so I did this. Luckily, I got a call back where that was like kind of like in this conference room where we did like a mock episode, and that's where like some of my improv experience I think helped in terms of doing like kind of games like got props and like just, you know, you're like, oh, this ironing board, why is this iPhone so big or whatever it was. And so that was like fun, but yeah, a lot of it was just I guess Nick Cannon had seen my stand up a bunch and really convinced people to give me a shot, who later told me like the other producers later told me after it worked out, they were like, yeah, like one of them was like, I didn't think this would work out. Like, I didn't think you'd be the right fit for the show. But now it's like his wife said I'm like her favorite person on the show and stuff. So it's, yeah, it's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's been really fun. It's one of those shows that combines like what I love about improv and stand up, where you can kind of like try to come up with jokes, but a lot of it you're coming up with in the moment too, like based on what other people are saying. So yeah, it's a fun time. I feel lucky to do it occasionally. And,
definitely, dude.
Yeah.
Nick really churns out the talent, huh?
Yeah, he's really good at like finding performers of all kinds, like, and collaborating and getting a platform for a lot of different people on the show, that like social media stars and people that are doing like acting or rapping or music or like, you know, battle rapping or whatever. Yeah. And no, so it's a fun hang for sure.
How's your relationship with him, with Nick?
It's good. Yeah. I mean, I'm not like super close with him.
Right, you're not going to have one of his babies, but you're close with him.
Yeah, but no, he's awesome. He's definitely helped me out a lot, and it's always fun hanging out with him. We call each other every day. Just kidding. Not that
listen
close
to
with
the
him.
pod, then
But yeah, we've done Wild Out together a bunch.
How
done
long
some
is
stand-up
12
together.
seasons? How many years is that?
We rode on a jet together once from a stand-up show. That was fun.
Lit.
Yeah, 12 seasons. I started in like 2013. I don't know. It used to be like one season a year. Now it's like sometimes 2 or 3. And I haven't done like every single season in a row now. So it's more like, it's one of those things where there's different classes, and a lot of times there's like new young people coming in, and I'm 30. I just turned 35. So now I'm like, I think I'm like elderly in MTV years, but I feel very flattered that occasionally I get invited back to go and do some episodes. And, yeah, so it's been fun. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Are you filming soon with them again?
I think so, but usually I don't find out till last minute. I don't know the exact set. Some of the producers told me some rough estimates, but it's always kind of changing based on like the network's whatever plans or whatever. So yeah,
the last time you were on the pod, you were about to do a show at the Barclays Center.
Oh yeah,
how did that go?
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that was a fun show. It was definitely kind of a tough crowd as well. It was like a weird thing because it was like 15,000 people. So it was, there were some people that were really into it and some people that were not into it. So some people were heckling me. Some people were laughing and cheering. It was like there were just so many thousands of people. It's like hard to like get everyone on the same page. And it was like a very rowdy crowd where I was like kind of far into the lineup for where I thought I would be. Yeah. So like Lil Kim had gone up already and performed.
Dude, that's gotta be tough, all mixing stuff. Like hip hop, hardcore rap, and stand-up comedy
as well as
in the
like,
same venue.
Yeah,
same
and then there were some
show,
very funny, very high energy comedians like Michael Blackson and stuff. And so I was kind of following a lot of really strong, famous performers. But it was fun for sure. It was very surreal. That's the most people I've been in front of with comedy, and maybe ever will be again. I don't know. And so, so I feel grateful I got to do it. And yeah,
you're touring right now.
Yes.
Any places that you're excited to go visit for the first time?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure when this will come out, but I'm excited. I mean, this weekend I'm going to Grantville.
What's today, dude? Today, Monday. It'll be up Monday.
Oh, okay.
This Monday.
So if this comes out Monday, then this Saturday / last Saturday, Grantville, PA. That was fun. Nice. I imagine, even though it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, the last time you were on the pod, I think you went to like Bethlehem, PA.
Oh yeah, I'm a big PA guy.
Big red state guy.
But
you were born in Pennsylvania?
I was born in Pittsburgh, technically. Yeah.
Oh, but what do you mean technically? Like
I was born there, but I didn't like grow up there, so I don't have a lot of memories.
So technically, I was born in Jersey, but I just sprinkle that into combos, and people are like, "Why would you tell people that?"
I know,
like, dude, because I got to.
Yeah,
you hate bringing it up,
but
you gotta bring it up. You're Pittsburgh.
Okay, yeah,
like Wiz Khalifa, black and yellow,
Yeah, exactly.
And then the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yep.
Dude, I wanted to ask you. It was gonna be a weird question, but maybe I don't know. You know the significance of it. Louisville Slugger. The baseball bat.
Yeah.
Do they have like a huge factory in Louisville?
Yeah, I was there when they put up this giant. There's a giant bat that's like the size of the building, like that basically leans next to the building.
No way.
And
pop it up right here. Are you serious or no?
Oh yeah, I'm serious.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
we're
seriously.
popping it up right here. Nice.
It's
bat.
a landmark, and
it's like one of those national parks.
Yeah, you can go. You can do the tour. They give you a mini Louisville Slugger bat.
You did it?
Oh yeah, I think at some point when I was like 5 maybe or something. Yeah. Right. Yeah, and then Muhammad Ali Center is pretty good.
Is he from Louisville?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. And by the way, Monday, this comes out Monday. So yeah, tonight, if you're in Nevada, Missouri, you can see me at Cotty College. So check that out.
Oh, a little college show.
Yeah.
I feel like those are good because a lot of those college kids probably want to see comedy. And
yeah, I love a guy like you coming
shows. In, probably a few thousand people.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, yeah, every show is a little different. So
Nevada, Missouri,
depending on the size of the school and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And then also Thanksgiving weekend, I'll be in my hometown at Laugh Louisville for a couple shows. Oh yeah, and November 10th through 11th, Oak Park, Illinois, and Chicago.
Bro, do you have a flyer with all those dates?
I think so. Yeah,
all right, we'll pop it up right here.
Okay, great. And Davenport, Iowa. I think November 12th.
Lindsay Davenport. No shout. You know who that is. Do you?
That's a good question.
Lindsay Davenport.
I don't know if I know. Oh yeah, and January I'll be in Tulsa. But wait, who's segment. Lindsay?
Just random tennis player.
Okay,
but it sounds like that'd be like Lindsay Davenport, Louisiana. Dude, Missouri's got a few state city names that might not make sense. Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh yeah, that's confusing.
And then what's Nevada, Missouri?
Nevada, Missouri is where I'm going to be. But yeah, I just had some fun ones too. I've been touring a lot this summer, and so I was in Toronto, Baltimore, Buffalo, Massachusetts, Rhode Island.
Are you driving sometimes?
A lot of those are drivable, yeah.
But so, it's like teeters.
I'll fly to ones. I flew to like Wichita and Colorado and stuff like that. But excuse me, I'm just getting emotional.
You're just so pumped up about the shows. Yeah, dude.
But
we appreciate it.
But no, that's been really fun. No, it's been fun. Yeah, I've been touring with another comedian, so we'll often drive together from New York, and then sometimes try to do fun stuff. There was like the Dr. Seuss Museum in Springfield, Massachusetts, and like things like, if we have time, we'll try to like check out stuff like that.
Is that like a wax museum? Like what does that look like?
It had a lot of Dr. Seuss like statues and stuff, and then there's some other like things, memorabilia for sure, and and then I don't know, I guess it's been fun just doing a lot of shows. I've been doing like an hour of different stuff in my album that I'm kind of working on as a future special or album. And then, I don't know. Yeah. So that's, just trying to like see the cities a little bit. And
what's been your favorite one?
That's a good question. Baltimore was a lot of fun. The zoo and the whatever, like the show. I mean, the shows were amazing too. That club is awesome. The Port Comedy Club. So that's definitely a favorite, but then, had a really fun show in like Mashpee, Massachusetts. And then also in, I guess like Foxborough and Springfield were a lot of fun, but Toronto was great as well. Yuck Yucks, and then Buffalo was great. No, it's hard to, I don't know if I have like a favorite, I guess. And the colleges have been really fun too. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. But
maybe when you had the most memorable time, what city did you have the most memorable time? That's a good question.
I don't know. I mean, the Baltimore was really great crowds and stuff, but then so was like Canada. The shows were really fun. So I don't know. No, it's like I don't know if it's hard to choose.
Maybe, one will blow you out of the water soon. What is your Saturday look like? Let's say people have a lot of questions about what comedians do during the day, especially like when you're on tour. Okay. If you are in a city like, let's say Nevada, Missouri. Yeah. You have a show. I would assume you get there Friday, early evening, something like that, or maybe mid-afternoon. Let's say if you have Friday and Saturday shows.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it really depends. I guess it's always nice to be in the same town for a couple of days. Like if you have multiple shows and stuff, but yeah, other times it is like kind of you're like, just traveling or whatever, but yeah, if I can, I try to like see the town and whatever. So yeah, it's definitely like in Baltimore when I was there on that Saturday, I did like go on a long walk, went to the zoo and things like that, and that was really fun. But I've also been trying to, I guess, like listen to sets every day of my stand-up and like things like that. So I try to do some of that, some writing. I try to, I feel like I waste way too much time on social media. So that's always like something I'm trying to cut back on, but I try to like do things like work out, write jokes, explore the city if I can.
You try and eat like the same things from city to city?
I definitely will try to like check out cool food in that city if I can. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I'm definitely all about trying to have new experiences of like, especially like activities to do there or whatever it is. So that's always fun. So yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. I guess, it's, yeah, I definitely had fun. Like after a show in Myrtle Beach, I think I had a late flight the next day. So just like walking around, checking out like museums and touristy stuff there, or walking around like Savannah and seeing like interesting like parks and shops and whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like, yeah, whatever the town has going on. If if I can, I love to like either hike or check out places that are around there. So yeah, I don't know. No, it definitely, I feel lucky that I get to like travel as part of comedy, and then the shows are always generally really fun for the most part. And so yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do feel very lucky to have this job. Sometimes I would do feel like maybe it would be cool to have more structure during the day. Cause yeah, a lot of times I am like, oh, I should write, but then it's so easy to like put it off because I'm just kind of in charge of my own thing.
Wake up late, work out a little late, hit the continental
like,
breakfast.
As a kid, I hated like having to wake up for school, but now I realize it's like nice to have control of your own life, but then it's also like, oh, I feel lame the days like when I just sleep in super late or like check get distracted on my phone, and I'm like, technically I could be doing so much cool stuff in New York all the time, and it's like great when I am able to do that. And then other times I'm just like, it's so hard to get like motivated. But then like once you get started, it's usually like, oh, this is great.
There's like that workflow state.
Yeah. You seem like you always have like really, positive energy and attitude. That's really awesome.
Yeah. Well, this is the stuff. This is like the most positive I'll be during the day,
okay.
Because I'm on the pod trying to get you to freaking share your story and stuff.
No, that's awesome.
Does your time, like day in New York, kind of look the same as it is on the road?
It's definitely a little different. Yeah. Cause I feel like when you're out of town, it's like easier to appreciate the stuff there. Like, like for instance, like when I said like going to a zoo or a museum, it's like, that's something I could be doing like almost a lot of days in New York when I have downtime.
Right.
But it's like, there's less urgency.
Yeah.
So I think, I guess being in these places for a limited time does make you kind of maybe appreciate it more or whatever. And so I try to do that in New York in terms of like we were talking about earlier before we recorded about like trying to see like cool plays or whatever the stuff here. Like I do try to like treat New York as a tourist, even though I've lived here for like 9.5 years now. Cause it's like, this is like my favorite place. So I try to like remember that and like, just like walk around Central Park or like really, take advantage of like so much cool stuff going on here all the time.
What do the museums and zoos look like in smaller towns?
I don't know.
I guess it's like a specific type of museum. Like the Hammer Museum. Or
right. Yeah. Like Springfield had like these 5 museums that are like, I guess because Dr. Seuss is from there. That was one of them, but they have these other ones. So
Dr. Seuss is an author?
Yeah.
And he created a character.
Yeah. Are you familiar with like
Green Eggs and Ham?
Or
The Grinch.
The Cat in the Hat?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't even really thinking about that.
Okay.
Okay, Dr.
Wait, who did you think?
I thought he was just the cat.
Oh.
I thought that was Dr. Seuss. The guy who wrote it's name is Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
And all the characters in it are not Dr. Seuss. So
you thought the cat's name was
Dr. Seuss, yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. No, I mean, no, that was just one of many. But
this guy was Doctor. What was his first name? Ken Seuss.
Doctor.
It's a funny line. Oh, you don't know his first name after all that?
No, honestly, I was more into like the kids that I was like, oh, there's like a cool picture. I'm not really good. I didn't really have time to read the whole thing. Like
so
his first name.
It seems like it's more specific then. Like in New York, we got the Museum of Modern Art, which is a very vast subject.
Well, they did have other things. They had like an art museum, whatever. But yeah, I love the museums here. Like the Met is so extensive and whatever.
Are you a member?
The Met, I don't know. I mean, I think it's, as a New Yorker, you can.
Right. I think it's like, but I think it's every year you get like a discount.
I don't think I have.
Get like
a I think it's already pay what you want as a New Yorker. So
is it?
Pretty discounted.
Shows how much I know, bro.
But also actually, I just remembered I did some really fun shows in DC recently too, and they had some great museums too. The National Galleries of Art. I got really lost looking at that. And then the Spy Museum was pretty great.
Oh,
so that was pretty fun.
They have one on like 14th Street. Have you been to it?
I haven't been to the one here.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think there's one there, and I thought there was one uptown, but maybe that's...
Yeah, well, I think they have gadgets in the 114th
Okay,
Street,
I'll
like
have to
spy
check that
gadgets.
out. Yeah, that's a good example of it's like when you're out of town, you're like, oh, this is so cool. I'm going to check this out. And then there's so much stuff here I haven't done.
Yeah, in New York, they say that it is obviously the most hectic city, but it could sometimes just be the most lonely city. You know, like when you're just in your apartment, you're watching something on TV, you're eating, you're scrolling on your phone, like nobody else exists.
Yeah, it is. It can be lonely in that way. I think like once you go outside, it's like you're like, oh, you find stuff and you feel like super connected. But yeah, maybe that's why it feels so lonely when you're like alone or whatever in New York, because you're like, there's so much, you just know there's so much going on that you feel like that extra FOMO. Whereas if you were in like a small town somewhere, you might be like, well, that's fine. Nothing else is going on. So this is...
Your parents ever want you to come home? You visit home a lot?
Oh, I visit a lot. Yeah, I was just there for a wedding in Bowling Green, but stayed in Louisville.
Bowling Green State.
Yeah, and I jogged around on that campus before I got ready for the wedding. It was actually a wedding in a cave.
You were getting just pumped for the wedding, running around Bowling Green?
Yeah, really nice campus. Yeah, so one of the 11 kids is now an adult who's getting married.
It was one of them.
Yeah, the youngest of that group is now getting married, along with a lot of them have gotten married and have families and stuff now. And so, so she and her husband now are both have worked as like forest rangers and stuff, so they're really into like nature. So it was an outdoor wedding in this forest, and then the reception was in an actual cave.
You have a picture?
Yeah, I mean, I posted it on Facebook. I posted it in my story. I don't know. Yeah, I could definitely like.
Do you have a hard copy?
A hard copy? No, I haven't.
That we can pop up right here. Do you have it?
I mean, I can send you a photo.
All right, pop it up right here. Thank you very much, Jacob. A wedding in a cave.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
So that was pretty cool. Yeah, it felt like indoorsy because of the setup, but there was definitely, you can see the cave walls, and when you walk into the cave and like across this bridge of like where they have cave boat tours and whatever. And that was really cool for sure, because I love nature. That's one thing I do miss sometimes being in New York, like nature. But of course, like Central Park and stuff, there's plenty of trails. And also you
travel so much too, so you're seeing so much freaking nature, especially on those long drives. I'm sure you see hours of just nature on the side of the road.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I love hiking on the road when I can, and yeah, driving through like foresty areas is fun. But yeah, the train has been good too, like going to DC and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, love a good nature break or whatever. It's supposed to be really good for
your
mental
mind,
health stuff. So yeah, I'm hoping that I always want to do that more often than I'm doing. But the times I do it, I'm really glad for sure.
Do you see yourself moving back to Kentucky?
No, I don't think so.
But New York for good?
I don't know. Honestly, I guess anything could happen. Maybe I'll move back there someday. Maybe I'll stay here. Maybe I'll go to LA or some other place. I don't know exactly. How about you? Are you thinking about moving?
No, dude, this is my home. Yeah. Unless somebody offers me a large bag, of money.
Yeah, honestly, New York is my favorite. I don't really see anytime soon.
Like my dad is in Florida a few months out of the year, so I'll go down there and I'll visit him for like 4 nights. It's usually my maximum. And then same thing kind of with LA. Unless I'm doing a ton of things, just like a week of it's too slow, bro. Like New York is
absolutely
10 times at least faster than every other city.
There's definitely a lot going on here, comedy wise and
definitely
otherwise.
Bro. Which is like even if I'm not on a lineup on one night, I can go to so many different places.
There's a lot of places
and hang out.
Fun to hang out.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, that makes sense. Yeah.
What's been the best part about being in New York for you? Just consistently grinding on the comedy scene? Yeah,
the comedy scene, like I said, the parks and museums, but the comedy scene is awesome. I actually, even on like last Sunday, I went to Michael Che and Colin Jost's show at Radio City. And I know Che a little bit through stand-up. We're not like super close, but he was nice enough to like give me a ticket and to this backstage thing as well, and that was really fun. And then we actually ended up doing karaoke afterwards, so it was cool seeing like Scarlett Johansson and Colin Jost do like some really fun karaoke songs. And like,
what song do you sing?
I ended up doing "Forgot About Dre," which is a fun one. But I do a lot of karaoke. I had a side hustle during the pandemic where I was like live streaming, and if people tipped me, it was like how I would, when comedy was shut down, I would make money through tips, and I would sing like any karaoke song they wanted. So I ended up singing, like, some people would just try to embarrass me with like the most graphic sexual lyrics or whatever. And then, but it was definitely a good way to like learn different songs.
Wait, but where were the lyrics though? You did this like, on
so
Instagram?
like whatever they request. This was on this app called Meet Me. I would like live stream on there, and people would kind of tip you through the currency of the site, which you can cash up for actual money.
That sounds like TikTok now, right? With the live.
Yeah, I think you can
you can give somebody gifts.
Yeah, it's similar. And so yeah, sometimes I would just pull it up on YouTube, like a karaoke version of any song they requested. And some of them I knew and it was really fun. And then some of them I didn't know. And it was just kind of a challenge to like try to sing a song I didn't know the best that I could. And sometimes it would like just kind of surprise me in the moment of like the lyrics of like a Cupcake song when she was rapping about like really intense things.
Dirty lyrics, I'm sure.
But yeah, so now I do karaoke a bunch with friends and it's super fun because I can choose whatever song I want now. But yeah, it's always a good time.
Do a lot of your friends from growing up, or a lot of what would you consider the family who has 11 children? Is that like family to you, or are those friends? What do they consider?
Yeah, it's almost like a hybrid. It feels like family. It feels like friends. They're not like technically related to me.
Do they all still live in the area where you're from?
So,
like, does everyone think you're an outcast for leaving and go to New York?
No, I definitely am a little different than that group in that. Yeah, most of them have stayed in Louisville and have like families of their own now and are really close with their extended family. And so I like that I can kind of hang out with them in those like family vacation settings and weddings and whatever. But it's definitely a different lifestyle. And I'm definitely like envious of that at times. I see like my cousins having families and other friends that I grew up with, like, or knew in my 20s and stuff that are like settled down now, and it looks really cool. I would love to maybe do that someday.
Yeah, you see yourself doing that?
Yeah, maybe. Down? I think it just depends on kind of meeting
the right person.
I
think also right now, dude, it just seems like you're so busy being on the road every single weekend that like at this particular time, it would potentially be tough to balance something.
Yeah, sometimes it's tough. I am sometimes out of town traveling, and then I have this very nocturnal schedule at times, which I'm not proud of. I would hope to like eventually change it to like
how does it look? Like what are your sleeping hours?
So it's pretty rough. It's
because I remember like, dude, last time you were on the pod, you were like, oh, this is my first coffee. And you were like, oh, it's 5 p.m. I just woke up or something.
Yeah, no, truly. That happens a lot. Yeah. So
what does it look like, your schedule?
Yeah. So a lot of times it is that where I'm always like hoping to go to bed earlier than this, but yeah, sometimes it does get into the territory of like going to bed at like 7 a.m., 8 a.m., things like that.
That's like a rapper. Like you're in the studio.
Yeah. I mean, technically I do rap on Wild Enough,
that's also true.
Well, actually me and some people from this show ended up hanging out till like 6 a.m. Sunday for like some of the comedians from that.
Wow.
But other times it's like, I do have trouble getting motivated to go to bed because I'm either get distracted on my phone, or I do read a lot at night too, which is probably productive.
But let's say you're getting home from a spot at 12 a.m. Like you are just, for the most part, still working or still watching something.
A lot of times I'll get home later than that and then still like want to watch the new Loki episode, or like
are you eating in between those hours?
I guess a lot of times when I get home I do eat, so then I feel like I don't want to go to bed immediately after eating, so then I'm like, there's definitely some downtime of like, I do read every night too, and then have like a night routine of just getting ready for bed and whatever, brushing teeth or whatever, obviously, but I don't know, I guess
what's the average time you think you go to bed Monday through Friday, not the weekends?
I mean, I'm saying even then it's probably a lot of times like between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m. or whatever. I'm trying to change it.
True owl, dude. That's so nocturnal.
Yeah, I'm not happy about it. I think it's just been like that for a long time, but I would like to, it might've been during the pandemic, it drifted more in that direction.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, no, I would like to change that.
Well, Drake has a schedule like that too. He says he goes to bed around like 5 or 6 a.m. and then he's up at like 2 or 3 p.m.
Yeah, no, that is, I guess I'm basically Drake. Everyone says it.
Well, I was gonna say it's like it's the entertainer schedule.
Our
OVO. You're both born in October. When's your birthday? Not October.
October 10th.
Actually?
Yeah.
Bro, I was joking and saying that. My mom's birthday is October 11th.
Oh, no way.
But,
Nice.
is his birthday not October or is it November? It's October's very own.
When Drake's is. Nick Hannah's is the 8th of October.
Oh, that's why you guys are so tight.
Yeah, we're
same
Libra,
birthday. Libra bros.
Twin flames or something. Is that something? I forgot what that means.
Twin flames.
I
think that's when you're just like attracted to someone. And
okay, never mind.
Well, maybe.
Sorry.
Maybe.
If that's
what
you
guys are boys.
I thought it was like you're like friends, but
twin flames. I think
then,
maybe it has a couple
more
meanings.
Attracted to each other, but very
professionally.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love his work and
nice man, and he loves your work as well.
Yeah.
So what else you got coming up that you're excited for? Maybe personally wise, comedy wise. You're doing a lot of traveling.
Yeah. So I think I did mention a lot of the shows I'd be on the road. So definitely excited for those, and then it's also seeing some family in Louisville for Thanksgiving, which will work out great because I'm doing shows that weekend. So it'll be nice to like see them and also get to spend some extra time.
Just to jump back on what we were saying and like you moving to Chicago and then New York to pursue your passion. What were some of the things that maybe people from your hometown were saying that made you second guess your move?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, I definitely remember starting out doing comedy. My parents were very kind of nervous about whether I'd be okay in terms of like being able to make a living or whatever. And they were definitely very cautious and were like, especially during college, where they were like, you make sure you finish college and things like that. So yeah, there are definitely a lot of people skeptical of it. It's one of those things like it takes a while to kind of convince people that you're able to make a living at it and get gigs consistently and whatever. So yeah, I mean, yeah. And then starting out doing comedy, even like when I first started, I like would sometimes get hired to like host for a weekend, and I got fired from some of those jobs because I would be just too low energy for their taste or whatever. And I even had like my first feature gig was like this random rural town restaurant. There were like 6 people there that weren't there for comedy, and we were supposed to do comedy. And the owner like thought I was so not funny. Like he wanted to not pay me, but he also wanted to convince me to never do comedy again. So like I was in his office after, and he was like, I'm telling you, like, this is not your thing. Like you've got to do something else. There's so many other things you could be doing. Just
I'm putting that right in the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay.
Gotta keep people along, you know, like
yeah.
this fucking guy told Jacob not to do comedy.
Yeah. So that was when I first started featuring. And then, like I said, when I first started hosting, I was supposed to do like a Thursday through Sunday. And after the first night, they're like, yeah, we're going to get someone else to host. Cause
where was this when you were doing comedy in Chicago? Or?
That was a club in Louisville that has shut down now. And then there was another club in like the suburbs of Illinois when I moved there shortly after. And I actually got replaced midway through the first show of the weekend. Like I was hosting a show, and then after I got off stage, they said it was like too low energy or whatever. So they had this other guy go up after the feature and host the rest of that show and the rest of the weekend. So it was.
Did you think your career was over at that? What were you thinking at that time?
Well, not really. No, those kind of things. I was like, you know, I kind of. Like I definitely used to get like kind of disparaged in those settings, but I think I could kind of see like, okay, I was in kind of like a tough situation where I'm like going up cold or in front of like a tough crowd, or it's like hosting is like a specific skill. Whereas like I knew I could do well in front of a good crowd or whatever, because like I think I'd have enough experience at the time. So it was one of those things where I hadn't quite learned how to like just go up and host and like do crowd work or whatever you have to do to like get a crowd started.
You had more belief in yourself.
Yeah. So, I mean, it definitely was discouraging. There was maybe a part of me that's like, oh, maybe this isn't my thing.
Maybe this random guy's right.
Yeah. But I think by then I had also done enough stuff that, especially later on, so it's like one of those things where, I think those things like affect you less and less as it goes. So like, now when I have a tough show, I can usually either be like, oh, I maybe would do this differently or whatever, or this was like also a really tough setting. So I'm not just going to blame myself completely if it's like.
Did you think about quitting at any point before America's Got Talent, after, and that gap between America's Got
all
Talent
the time.
and Wow?
I think about it all the time, but yeah, I mean, it's also like kind of like, I think Gary Goldman had a thing about like how he thought about quitting, but then he realized like,
Who did?
I think Gary Goldman talked somewhere about how he like was thinking about quitting, but then he realized like comedy is like kind of like on paper, like the least amount of hours you could work, like in terms of like, if you're looking for a different job, every job is going to be like longer hours. I mean, technically as a comedian, you're working like however amount you're on
like
stage. I mean, of course it's good to like do more and write and whatever and travel. But yeah, technically it's like, I don't know. Yeah, it is kind of hard to find a job that I would want to do more or that would have as good of like hours and be as like fun and rewarding as well. So yeah, I don't know. So no, I definitely thought about quitting plenty of times, but I don't really see that. I would overall, I would like to keep doing this like forever, the rest of my life.
But was there a moment before you moved to New York that you were sketched out about making the big jump, or not really? You were
not really. I guess I think when I was starting out, I was like just kind of like, okay, I hope, like I wanted to maybe give it a shot for a few years and kind of see how it was going. But yeah, I guess, no, not really. I guess, no, I've definitely had plenty of like moments of doubt over the years, and maybe after America's Got Talent or other times I thought about quitting, but it's one of those things. No, I just like really enjoy it a lot. So yeah, I don't really see that happening. Maybe if I get, canceled or something. I don't know. But yeah, other than that, I don't know. Yeah, unless there was like something physically stopping me from like I was banned from every comedy club in the world or something, but I don't really see.
Well, dude, through this hour, I think it's safe to say that you didn't get canceled. You won't get banned from.
I don't know. Maybe by the time this comes out,
hopefully not.
Everyone will find out I'm a serial killer. But just kidding. All right.
That's how you heard the glass. You were like, oh yeah, I know what that sounds like. Jacob Williams, dude, thanks so much for coming on the Ted Jones World podcast. Of course, and thanks for doing the Ted Jones Comedy Show. You killed per usual.
That was a really fun show.
Guys, thanks so much for tuning in and listening. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.